think you know everything about your favorite Pokémons, you'd be surprised at the end of this video. So make sure to watch it until the very end, because that beautiful watered down image of the Poké World you have may change forever.
Behind every creature's design in this franchise, there are many hidden inspirations and untold lurking secrets. In this series I will highlight the concealed mythology and aspirations behind the design of these Poket-Monsters,
as never known before.
Welcome to the POKEVERSE. (1989) Japan. There were two major events that led to the development of Pokemon. First off, it was the release of the Game Boy. The Pocket console has seen a huge success and quickly got exported to the West. After only 3 months, the Game Boy was originally seen as a system geared toward puzzle and action games, until the release of Final Fantasy Legend in the same year, the first RPG game of the Game Boy. When our future developer Satoshi Tajiri witnessed the success, he saw an opportunity. He realized that even non-action games were successful in the Game Boy, and a few days later, with the help of Ken Sugimori, they turned Game Freak, a video game magazine, into a famous game company. Kyoto, 1990. Satoshi Tajiri presents a sprite sheet of his project with the hope that Nintendo retains his hard work. At the main page there is a Nidorino vs a Gengar with the title Capsule Monsters, containing a lot of gameplay design, but what I'm trying to draw your attention to is, in this Pokemon sprite design, among them there is a mysterious gas-like creature with extended eyes past its round body. It's the prototype of Gastly, concepted as number 25 from the list.
So where did all these inspirations come from?
Ghastly.
In Japanese called Gosu, for ghost. Ghastly with GH meaning frightful, and gas referring to his composure, because he is made of 95% gas. But what about the other 5%? The Pokédex will light off this mystery, in which Pokémon Silver's addresses a frightening description of this monster.
It can envelop an opponent of any size and cause suffocation. Inhaling parts of his impalpable gas causes instant faint. It is said that gas emanating from a graveyard was possessed by the grievance of the deceased, thus became a Pokémon.
In Japanese tradition, when a person dies, it is believed that their recon, their soul, will remain in the type of purgatory until they are given proper funeral rites. But if the person dies in an unexpected, violent or traumatic way, that recon turns into
Yurei,
usually represented as a young lady or a ghost who must complete an unfinished duty amongst the living, or be given proper funeral rites. The same representation can be found in the episode 19, The Ghost of the Maiden's Peak of the Pokemon anime, where Gastly had the same characteristics as the Yurei. Both were appearing during the night, afraid of light, so as the Yurei, that appears around 2 AM according to the Japanese legends.
when the veil between both worlds of the dead and the living are at their thinnest.
The legend says, long ago, at the temple of Nibu-Dera in southern Europe, there lived a monk named Sogen. He was a wicked monk, for he would steal money out of the temple's offerings box, keeping the money from himself, until he became old and died. And because of his wickedness, he was born in hell to pay for his sins, as a floating fireball head roaming near Nibu-Dera's temple.
The resemblance is striking, isn't it? However, Sogenbi is just a subcategory of a larger one called Onibi that can be translated as Ogre of Fire or Demon Fire, often represented as blue fireball ghosts, blue as the shiny form of Ghastly. Also, the definition differs depending on the region. In Japan, for example, in Okinawa it's called Ki-Dayama, Soul of Fire, which contrasts completely with Ghastly's form. So Ghastly would just be a copy-paste from the Legend of Sogen, or is it more complex than that? 1988. A highly anticipated game was released. Looking at the game's new bestiary, there is one particular enemy called Cumulus or Gizmo, sharing almost the same round, foggy and cloudy design with piercing eyes. Looking at Tajiri's first prototype of Ghastly, you'll notice even more how similar they are.
Ghastly, the embodiment of the frightening fear of the dark, that indescribable feeling of being watched by someone or something when you're supposed to be alone in your room, but you have that constant fear that something is always near.
Once upon a time in Okinawa, a man in the prime of his life worked at night. He wanted to light up his pipe, but he found no match in his pocket. Luckily, he saw something burning in the middle of the path. He approached, thinking that someone must have made a gas fire, and saw a rock on fire. Without asking any question, he lit his tobacco, satisfied with the windfall. However, he died shortly after. Upon hearing this bad news, the village elder declared,
It was the Hidama who swallowed his soul.
They swallow and drain the energy of their prey until death, which is very familiar to the Pocket description of Hunter, ghost in Japanese. Haunter is a name composed of haunted and hunter. Hunter shares the same category as Ghastly, being gas Pokemon. Hunter, come back now. What the fuck, what is it? Wait, stop. Hunter,
We repeat this all month, Hunter. You do it again now.
come on. Okay. Very funny, Hunter. Very funny. Now, can we get serious for 1 minute, please? Okay, cool. Thank you. As I was saying, Hunter shares the same category as Ghastly, being gas Pokemon, and also having a particularly strong prankster personality, even more than Ghastly. Pokemon Gold and Silver introduced the night-day time for the first time, and one of the most notorious Pokemons that only appears during the night was Hunter. As the Pokédex of Pokemon Ultra Sun describes,
It is dangerous to go outside alone on nights when you're feeling sad. Hunter will catch you and you won't be able to go back home.
However, this next fact is the most terrifying and disturbing of the whole video. I am not joking. In the episode 23 of the Pokemon anime, The Tower of Terror, Hunter consciously pulled out Ash's and Pikachu's soul out of their bodies. Yo, this is insane. To show them how fun being a ghost it is. Hunter has a very disturbing power, isn't it? But don't get lured by the goofy and grotesque trait of his.
This frightful, malevolent spirit can glide through walls, appearing whenever he likes to play tricks and scare whoever faces him. Victims of Hunter's leg would wither to death day by day. Its touch causes endless shuddering, steals the life force of anyone who comes near. Then he lurks silently, stalking its next victim in total darkness where nothing is visible.
Episode 23 of the Pokemon anime, Hunter vs. Kadabra. The Hunter of the Tower of Terror accepted to help Ash to fight Sabrina and get his badge. And then, as another one of his tricks, he vanished before the battle started. The common idea of ghosts playing pranks on people is a recurrent theme in ghost stories popularized in horror fiction and cartoons. A characteristic that is reproduced in the anime version of Hunter, Gengar, and Gastly. If we open up our yokai book and try to look for the trait of draining the life force by licking the prey that our Pokemon has, you're gonna find that it comes from a specific creature called YAMACHICHI. It steals the breath from their sleeping human victims, sucking it out of their mouth with their pointed lips. But the yokai that reflects the most closely to Hunter gotta be the KUROBOZU, another yokai that drains the life force of its prey.
A human who has had his breath stolen this way will die the next day.
To understand more about Hunter's design and secrets behind him, we must dive deep into our developer's childhood inspiration at the time. We already know that the kaijus of Ultraman inspired freely the first ever sprites of Pokemon, sharing all the same morphology as the kaijus. But this next one was highly the #1 inspiration behind Hunter. A monster from Dragon Quest I named Ghost. Yes, that's right, Ghost as Hunter's name in Japanese, sharing not only the name but 3 fingers per hand and a long tongue out of the mouth and pretty much the same eye shape. Kind of a copy paste, right?
Hunter hides in very dark places such as caves and is afraid of light. If a human or a Pokemon comes near him, it will stalk the victim while floating and begging it to come closer. Once approached, it will then lick the victim with its gaseous tongue, inflicting convulsions in the victim that lasts until death. Hunter embodies the KUROBOZU and YAMACHICHI yokais in its modus operandi, and appearance-wise they both came from 2 Dragon Quest monsters. That's why Gastly came from Cumulus and Hunter from Ghost.
But what about Hunter's ultimate form? That's another mystery to dig out in another PokéVerse episode.
Which interpretation is the most convincing for you?